Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Listen, you got through the week like we got through 9/11.
And a recession.
And the Special K diet.
And the time that James Franco hosted the Oscars.
And Ben Platt's wig in Dear Evan Hansen.
TGIF.
Hello, I am Donnie and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea and I'm the cute one.
TGIF, cuties.
TGIF. Let me go first when I tell you about my week, because anything that I'm going to say is going to seem inconsequential to the stuff you're going to talk about. And I want to talk about being brave at the dentist.
Okay, well, that's big.
It was big. The cuties know that I thought that I had 4 cavities. And so I had prepared myself to go in for 4 fillings. They ended up pushing my appointment back a week. But I went in and I had a different dentist, and she looked at my mouth and was like, different dentists have different perspectives on like how aggressive we need to treat teeth. I believe in the ability of monitoring it and letting the tooth heal. So I only had to get 2 fillings.
Instead of 4.
Instead of 4.
Wow.
So only one side of my mouth, the side of my mouth where I thought that I had lockjaw, but it just turns out, nope, 2 cavities.
Okay.
And it sucked, but I'm here to say, cuties, if you're putting off going to the dentist, just do it, because I am in so much less pain. It's crazy.
I'm happy for you. That's incredible.
And the dentist called me brave, so not to brag.
Wow.
They were patient. I was scared. How was your week?
It wasn't great, but I'm not ready to talk about it publicly, about details yet. I'm still processing my emotions and not ready to, share to the world. But I did receive so much DMs of love and support and asking what people can do for me and all these things. So thank you for that. It was beautiful to read, beautiful to experience as I am navigating these emotions that are tough. I will say, right before I logged into this fucking recording, Chelsea knows I'm gonna need 2 different medicines. One for the eye issue that was happening, and then one for the bigger issue at large. And they said that my insurance won't cover the bigger one, like the big thing. So I'm stressing about that, but we'll figure it out.
Well, and we are here. I am here. Your friends are here. The cuties are here. Like, everybody is here to support you. And I want you to know I was crying all day because of my DMs about you and about our friendship, and I'm going to cry right now.
Yeah.
But the cuties have also slid in my DMs and like asked about a GoFundMe, asked how they can support you. So like, you can take that off your plate. Like, you can take that worry. We will figure it out. And like, our fucking system is fucked and our country is stupid, and it shouldn't have to take crowdsourcing to be able to get life-saving medication.
Yeah.
But like, you can take that off your plate of worries, because like, we will figure that out as a community.
Well, thank you to everyone. Thank you. So let's talk about good stuff now that that's out of the way. Kendrick's visit was great. Last week we did a lot. I talked about that last week. This week we went to see some more shows. We went to some more escape rooms. And then on Easter, we went to church together and brunch. And it was supposed to be with Noor, but if there's one thing Noor loves to do, it's be late.
Sometimes she bounces in and out. Sometimes she is like a friend of cameo on a Housewives show where she just comes to shake shit up and then, drag her cigarette and say no that and hit the road. Sometimes just doesn't show up.
Yeah, the reality is if you have something booked from a certain time to a certain time, Noor will not be there that whole time. Maybe she'll be late, maybe she'll leave early, maybe you'll not get her at all, but but you will not have her for that chunk. And that's whether it's a that's whether it's a dinner reservation, an escape room that you only have an hour in anyway. It doesn't matter.
Honestly, a friendship with Noor is an escape room where she is just always trying to escape you. Look at how much the life came back to us as soon as we started talking shit about our dear friend.
I know. I knew it was necessary. And what I like most is this is not shit talking behind her back. People aren't going to send her this link and say, like, listen to minute 3. This is just a public roast that she didn't sign up for.
Absolutely. No, she certainly didn't.
Anyway, originally the plan was me, Kendrick, and Theon, my boyfriend, we're going to do brunch with like all of Theon's church friends because it's the least I could do. He was just with 34 of my friends in a castle.
A single brunch with his friends, being locked in a castle with 30 people he's never met, where he was also kind of asked to do manual labor at points by lifting crates of water bottles. Potato, potato, tomato,
Yeah.
tomato.
So I said, it is Kendrick's last day in New York, but like he can meet new people. He's fine with it. Let's do brunch as a whole group. So then that was the plan. But then when Nor was invited, then Theon said, you know what? Let's just hang out with your friends. Your friends are here for a limited time. Like mine are here all the time. We can do brunch with them next week. I said, okay, if you're fine with it, I'm fine with it. So then we were going to do brunch, just the four of us, made a reservation for 1:15. Church ends at 1. Lunch at 1:15. At 1 o'clock, when we get out of church, Nora texts us and says she's still in Jersey. She'll be there at 2. So I have work at 3. So then I said, well, that doesn't really make much sense. And then Kendrick had tickets to a show. So like, she was like, well, you're at work, but what's Kendrick doing while you're at work? We can hang out. And then when you're done, we can all meet back up. But that didn't work out either. So then Nora just turned around and went back home. But at this point, then we had already missed the opening of the church group. I have a phone number from a number I don't know. I'm going to answer just in case.
Yeah, take it. Yeah.
Hello?
Like what you're hearing? Head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for more.
There you can find uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes.
That's patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. See you there.
So, Donnie, while you were on your phone call, I was, doing what one does, just mindlessly scrolling Instagram. And I came across something that I'm going to have to dive deeper into. This is
game at the moment. My all-time favorite. This is an outdoor game, but in the summers when we're all home together, is playing
a nun podcast.
And you are so good at
Sister, and you are so good at that. I am enthralled by these sisters. It is like an SNL sketch, but wholesome. Like, it's delicious dish, but I need Kate McKinnon to play one of those sisters, because there is innately, with any sort of religious thing where sex is not allowed, a youth group, 2 nuns chatting about ultimate frisbee, etc., there's always a horny undertone. And just them being like, and sister, you are so good at that. Sister, you are so fast. Sister. Women supporting women. One of the comments said, this sure does pass the Bechdel test. Huh. So anywho.
Church. Yeah, that's the through line. We didn't end up meeting with Nora then. So we went to our original plan, but then we were the late ones because we thought we were going somewhere else. We went to the original plan to brunch with the church people. But that was lovely. Now, it was very like Poconos coded, where like half the house was talking about like what the start of World War III will entail. That's where Dr. Bald would sit. But then I was on the table just talking about Big Brother 40 and like asking therapists at the table, like, I know it's not legal, but if you were to diagnose me, what would it be? Things like that.
Everybody's favorite brunch topic. What section of the DSM-5 am I in? Yeah, well, that's just kind of indicative of where we are as a country right now. The dystopian society of just continuing to go to work. And, I'm in the DMV area, so I'm just crossing my fingers every time I step outside that I don't get zooted by a nuclear bomb,
Yeah, you and I are going to be the first to go, I think.
We're either going to be dead or grow some tails.
But one of the shows Kendrick and I did see when he was here this week was Joe Turner's Come and Gone on Broadway. I have something else to recommend, and I don't want to just show how cool my life is and recommend 7 things, so I'm putting it here instead. Taraji P. Henson and Cedric the Entertainer are in it, and it is so good. It's written by August Wilson, the same guy who wrote Fences and like Ma Rainey's Black Bottom and The Piano Lesson and stuff. And he has, I think 8, but I could fully be lying to you. He has 8 shows that all take place in Pittsburgh, and each one is a different decade, like 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever, throughout. So you see like what it was like for Black people in every decade of that time. And this one was the 30s, about like not an Airbnb, but like a little housing situation, and all the people that come in and out of that. It was great. I loved it. It was very funny until it wasn't. And that's how a lot of Broadway shows are. I feel like you can't list them as a comedy or drama. They're just a Broadway play. And a Broadway play is usually funny for 75%. And then it's like either very dark or very sad.
Well, that's kind of like this episode of this podcast today, I think.
That'll do it. Now I'll get into recommendations. And something else Kendrick and I did together is the Escape Game. That's the name of the company. It's an escape room company. It has locations in 23 states and 2 locations in DC, which I looked, Chelsea, the one in Georgetown. How far away is that from you?
Not too bad. It's very Gossip Girl coded. It's
okay.
all of the kind of snooty but really pretty preppy people live there.
Well, that's where we're going on my next visit for a day. We'll do brunch or something, and then also an escape room, because the themes they have at the location in Georgetown, I was looking, they don't have any of those themes in New York City.
Ooh, okay.
So they have a couple that I forget already, but then one is Titanic themed.
Okay, we've got to do it.
Yeah. So the one we did last week was ancient ruins theme. And what I really like about this company is that there's multiple rooms and each room is so different than the one before. In the ancient ruins, you start in a little helicopter thing where you're traveling to the jungle, but it had crashed. So you're there trying to get out. Then you end up in the jungle. Then you end up in the cave that you're trying to get to. So 3 very different rooms. This one was Cosmic Crisis. So you start in a little spaceship and then you have to dock onto the space station because it has been compromised by, I don't know what exactly. I didn't pay attention. It was too scientific. But the space station has been compromised. So you have to go in and hijack all these different parts of it so that it explodes and then get back on your spaceship and leave. But spoiler alert, if you ever want to play this one, I don't want to ruin the end, but I do need to talk about it. So skip ahead 10 seconds. The end of this one, you go back in the spaceship, and when you have to leave, we had 30 seconds on the clock. It felt like a movie. I've done millions of escape rooms my whole life, but normally it just feels like you're playing a game with friends. This truly felt
like your life was on the line.
Yeah. We had 30 seconds left. We go back into the spaceship part, and then there's a handle there, but there's also a handle in the space station, and they have to be done at the same time. So someone has to sacrifice themselves and stay on the space station as it explodes. So we had 30 seconds to decide who it was. I just decided I'll do it.
Wow. So giving.
Yeah, I know. Wow. So then I was thinking, who would play me in that movie if me and Kendrick were in space and I died in the last 5 minutes?
Kevin James.
Okay. And who would be Kendrick? Lil Nas X.
Yeah, Lil Nas X.
Oh, okay. One more thing. And again, I'm not getting into too many details. For a limited time, I will have a home nurse, Chelsea, in my journey. And I am praying that it's a homophobic old Black lady so that I can write a play about our time together. And I make her see the other side of life,
Wow. Yeah. A real reverse driving Miss Daisy? ?
Anyway, I blew up in space. Anything for you to recommend?
Every once in a while, I like to circle back on this concept. I recommend remembering that you have free will and that you can always opt into a little bit more whimsy. Things are crazy. The news cycle is crazy. We're all, to quote Brittany Cartwright, on the brim. And it is okay to log off and to take time for yourself and to engage in self-care. And I have to tell you, the wildflower garden that I'm cultivating in the back of my yard, whimsical as heck. I've now taken all of the trunks from the trees that I've been chopping and made myself a little fence around it. And then I'm going to start looking for, I don't want to do Amazon, obviously. I want to be searching for it and collecting them. But I want to start getting little gnome houses, the little statues.
Yeah.
To make a little city in the wildflower garden of little fairies. So I'm starting my collection, and I feel like it'll be exciting if I go into a weird antique shop and I find little things that could go. So highly recommend. Be whimsical.
I love that. Last week I called you a wind chime witch, but I really think you're that you're that woman from the beginning of Harriet the Spy that has that weird playground with string lights and old tires painted. Which I always thought was the coolest place.
It is the coolest place. That is the type of witch I am. I am a garbage witch. One man's trash is another woman's treasure, and I'm that woman, and it is my treasure. Our ESP has been so weirdly strong lately. You didn't even start the sentence, and I almost screamed out Harriet the Spy. I knew where you were going immediately upon you starting that sentence.
Okay, but in your defense, or maybe mine, well, no, we do have ESP, but also I do feel like I talk about Harriet the Spy once every other week.
So one more reminder, we are over on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell button, share with a friend, do all the things. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple or Spotify. That helps us get pumped out in the abyss, the algorithm that be to other potential cuties. And then patreon.com/I am the cute one. By the time this episode comes out, expect the unexpected, cuties. We did drop part 2 of episode 1 over on the Patreon. It was a live drop, so we were chatting live in the feeds as it was going down. And it's a delightful time. Birthday Brother is in full swing. And if you thought people were messy in this latest episode, you ain't seen nothing yet, because Donnie's showing me the footage as he edits, and I am gobsmacked. Patreon.com/I am the cute one for all of that.
This week, Charlie's Angels celebrated its 50th anniversary. A new trailer for the Summer House spinoff dropped. Meryl Streep and Anna Wintour were on the cover of Vogue. The Real Housewives of Rhode Island premiered. Aubrey Plaza announced her pregnancy. And Olivia Rodrigo announced a new album with a single dropping April 17th. You know what I'll be wearing to celebrate? Her scarf.
I was going to say her lock of hair.
I'm editing BB40, which naturally has me excited about whenever I host season 2, which I've already put teasers out there. It will be Survivor themed, and it will be heroes versus villains.
I am horrified by all of that. I had to remind myself. I just talked to myself, like, you know how people do inner child work where they tap their shoulders and they're like, for example, me on the way to the dentist, you're feeling scared, but I'm so proud of you for doing this. I'm so proud of you. You're being brave. I just had to do that as you talked about Survivor. I'm so proud of you for what you went through with BB40, but remember, you get to choose not to play this time. You can be a producer. That's okay.
Because it's Survivor theme, I've been looking for Airbnbs that are jungle themed. And I'm really having a hard time because it'll need to house 20 people, first of all. So already we're limited with options. But then there are not really, and maybe it's because we just stayed at a literal castle, but there are not really Airbnbs that lean into the theme as much as you would hope.
Well, it's hard because the castle housed everybody. And I do actually think that's very important. We all joked about how we were locked in that castle, but we didn't ever have a time to escape each other. Because I was thinking, in Southern Charm, they all stayed in tree houses, but they're separate tree houses. So we wouldn't get what we just got in this past episode of people having to hide in a dark bathroom because people could see them coming out into a hallway. It would be too easy to scheme if people were staying in separate locations.
I've also gone on glamping websites to see what the options are there. It would be a cabin at the very least, or a trailer at the very least. We would not be in tents.
Honestly, I don't know with you. I hear Survivor and I'm like, he's going to drop us off naked and afraid in the woods.
No. Like how BB40 didn't include slop, this would not include fighting for food and rice or anything. We would still eat a real meal and we would still do all that. The gameplay would be Survivor.
Well, you say that, and I'm just doing a bit of a teaser, but there was a subsect of us who didn't have access to water for large periods of time during BB40. So, we've been training for this.
You know what? That's true. But while I've been looking for this jungle-themed Airbnb, I somehow came across a viral TikTok for an Airbnb owner named @Ricky, who is getting backlash for his Pokemon-themed Airbnb. I sent you the video if you'd like to play it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it. Let me pull it up here.
I have this collage of Pokemons.
Okay.
And then a Mareep in the dining room.
This is just Coco's room.
Yeah, we can turn it off now. But it's just more of this, 10 more photos of that. But that's if I advertise this as a Broadway themed room. No, you just have a poster on the wall.
Yeah, mine's a Barbie room because it's pink. Actually, arguably more than what he did. Now, this goes two ways. Number one, I don't think you can claim that this is a Pokemon Airbnb. I think that it could be a quirky Airbnb that's I love Pokemon. But also, on Airbnb, when you're looking for a place, there are photos.
Yeah.
So I would never see that and assume, well, there must be a Snorlax bed somewhere.
No, that's very true as well. Because how this whole video came to be is because he got a negative review from someone that stayed there. So he's like saying, I think it's great, which is clearly not great. But the person who left a negative review should have looked at pictures already.
Yeah, it's a weird combination because I would argue it's objectively not great for many reasons. Because if you're going to have a theme, you need to go full campy. Like, we need to paint a bathroom blue at the very least and make it all water Pokemon types and like at least immerse you in the experience there. But he has that weird, sterile Courtyard by Marriott vibe of like everything is very boring and clean and crisp and not at all individualized. But then he has like that aesthetic combined with the collage of the Pokemon. That's a jarring juxtaposition, and not in a fun, campy way, but in a, oh, okay.
And that's what I like about my bedroom is that I'm very Courtyard by Marriott, like dark woods, white comforter, black duvet thrown over it. But then on the walls behind me are like line art of butt fucking and like men in their underwear and stuff. A Jennifer's Body poster. So like that is campy juxtaposition.
That is campy juxtaposition. Yeah. But yeah, having like a fake succulent with a tasteful Bulbasaur behind it, that does not make a themed Airbnb. Especially, again, coming off the heels of a castle that had a secret tunnel to Fairy World.
Oh, because we'll need 2 different camps, too. Yeah, I really need to find a place that does this. Because there was a jungle-themed Airbnb in Orlando that was, like, cute. That I was like, of course Orlando would have it.
Well, maybe we just go big for that. But I do think if you can get... I think glamping is the way. And maybe you even hire a company to come drop off 2 tents. Because then if you have a main lodge where when people get kicked off, they're going to Applebee's or whatever that little tiki hut thing is. Yeah. So there's the main hut that like you, production staff, and then whoever gets kicked out stays in. But then you have 2 tents that the first night you have to sleep in those tents. And there's sleeping bags or cots or whatever. Yeah. But like there's truly like 2 camps that become like the center point for throughout the day. And if you did it in Orlando, we could all get our little buffs and wear them as bathing suits because we could be outside for the competitions.
Okay. I think we're onto something. And that's that.
Okay. Well, you're dreaming of going to Orlando, and I'm dreaming once again of the moon. I did have to clarify today. I texted you. I said, I'm talking about the moon thing. And then I had to say, to be specific, the mission past the moon, the astronauts, because I do know I do talk about the moon quite frequently on this show. But this is a different version of that.
That's fine.
So Artemis 2 was a space mission that launched on April 1st. And the astronauts swung around the moon on April 6th, seeing sights of the lunar far side that no human has ever laid eyes on. So this has set the record for the farthest distance that humans have been in space. They saw the backside of the moon, which is so cool. The moon's mission crew shared an emotional moment when it came time to name a crater that they spotted. They said that they would like to name it after the commander's late wife, Carol. And they all shared a moment and had a group hug, and I was sobbing on the internet. We need this more than ever. A little bit about Carol Wiseman, who was the late wife. She dedicated her life to helping others as a newborn intensive care unit nurse, and she passed away 6 years ago when this crew first started forming. And they said that they have been through so much together as a NASA family, and they wanted to honor her in this way. So who is your cutie of the week?
My cutie of the week is Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, because the drama is officially out in theaters. Favorite movie I've seen in a very long time. Gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. I can't say much. I really am keeping it spoiler free. I know that spoilers about it have leaked onto Reddit, but have you seen the trailer?
They're like yelling at each other.
Yeah, so it's Robert Pattinson and Zendaya getting married, and they're like very excited about getting married. They're a perfect couple, but then the night before the wedding, they hang out with the maid of honor and best man, and the best man and maid of honor are married, and they say like, the night before our wedding, we played this fun game where we told each other the worst things we ever did in our lives. So then the trailer like cuts to all 4 of them say like, mine was, and then like cuts to the next person, so you don't know what it is. And when Zendaya goes, everybody is like, what the fuck? You better be joking. And then it like ruins their life and their relationship and whatever, and they're getting married the next day, blah, blah, blah. So I'm not going to spoil what the secret is, but it is very divisive and like people are pissed, and it probably will be spoiled for you, the listener, and you, Chelsea, because like people are posting think pieces about it already. But I thought it was perfect. I thought it had so much to say on so many different topics. I saw it with my boyfriend, and he and I literally discussed it for like 2 hours later.
Oh. Do you think I would like it, or is it gory?
It's not gory at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to tell you what it's about, but I don't know if you'll like it the same reason, and it's not connected at all, but like how I loved Lilo and Stitch, but then for like real reasons, you couldn't like it. I don't know if this is the same.
Okay. That makes sense.
And also, like, this is a movie I could watch once a week, but Blink Twice is a comfort movie for me, and that's about Diddy, parties, and Epstein Island. So not everything is for everyone, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Well, my cutie of the week is Lindsay Hubbard, Hub House herself.
Okay.
I'll make it quick, Donnie. I do have a couple of things that I want to add to our Summer House discourse from last week, because this Amanda West thing is moving about 1 million miles per hour. So every time I say something about it or record about it, like by the time this episode comes out, I'm sure even more will have developed within this. But it's becoming more and more clear that this relationship has probably been going on for longer than we thought. And our friend, Amanda, not Amanda on the show, our friend Amanda made a really good point that there is something about Amanda's personality that she has been so complacent in her life that she feels like Amanda never would have left without having a backup plan or something lined up. Like, yes, we see that Kyle is terrible to her and that they are both miserable, and absolutely they shouldn't have ever even gotten married in the first place. But there was a degree to which the last couple of seasons, Amanda has kind of just had her own life outside of Kyle, and that's kind of how she's been operating. So the fact that all of a sudden she's like, no, I'm going to leave this situation does give the energy of somebody who's got her escape hatch lined up. All of that to say, Lindsay Hubbard is a reality TV star because all of the cast members are giving their reactions. And I have to say, her and Carl's collab on that Uber Eats SpawnCon, this is what advertising needs to be in our late stage capitalist society. The two of them coming together. She, in the comments, wrote, I unblocked him for this. It made me laugh out loud. This is what fills my cold, dead heart. So once again, Lindsay Hubbard, Hub House, continues to stay winning.
Love that. What I don't like about the new, this is not really what we're talking about, but it circles enough to it. What I don't like about the new trailer for In the City is that, like, and we talked about it last week, like the Amanda and West stuff is happening in real time and it's not a secret. So I forgot about this spinoff because this stuff is happening now. And I thought we just had to get through the end of what last summer was. And then we'd kind of be caught up. And like when they film in 3 months, it would be about this stuff. Yep. But like now we have all these months worth of show that like we already know the end of as well.
Yeah, and I'm hoping that they're going to get cameras up or have had cameras up right now so that at least they can do what they did during the Scandival season, which is start in real time and do the like, I bet you wonder how we got here and like rewind back. The Kyle Richards, we were so happy that day. It's hard to imagine what would soon happen because at least then we can be collecting clues. And I'm sure production right now is completely going through all the footage and trying to edit in any clues that weren't included in the narrative. But yeah, it's hard to watch something that is presented to us when we know it's just not true.
And on that note, cuties, we'll talk to you later. Thank you again, truly, for all the messages this week and all the ways that you continue to support us in all the ways we need it. And that's a lot of fucking ways.
We're needy bitches.
Yeah. We will talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Charles.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.